So today I want to talk about setting up your pantograph. Okay, a good buddy of mine, Barry Davis, gave me a holler like a few weeks back, asking me a bunch of questions on the pantograph, how I set it up. And I was saying, you got to take this plate, do this thing. You got to take this plate over here, and it's just way easier to show than to try to explain over a phone. First thing I do is I level the pantograph. All right. If you don't level the pantograph, these arms are going to slide to one side, you're going to slide to another side. It's always good to level your machines. It takes the stress out of the machines, okay? So level your machines, clean them all up, and then I start looking at plates. So you got your work side, you got your copy side. Here's where you put your patterns, here's where you do your cutting, okay? So the first thing I do is I make a master plate for both sides. And I used to use aluminum. I don't anymore. I just can't stand the feel of aluminum. Okay, can't stand the feel of it, can't stand the look of it. So I use G10 that's been surfaced. And so what I do is I will, if you can look over here on this master plate, okay, there are some pins here, okay, and back here. And there's the same thing on the rear, okay, pins on the rear. So when I put the master plate on my table and I butt up against this side and pull it across, and the pins make contact to the base, to the cast iron, and I screw it in place, it's zero. Okay, I could take the screws off, take this plate, do whatever I need to do it, drill, whatever. Put it back on, butt it up against the base table, push it against the other pins, screw it down, I'm back to zero. Okay, so once you have found your location of where you want this table and this table, okay, to be located, lock your gibs in, take the handles off, because you are not going to be moving it in the X or Y axis. Okay, all you're going to be doing is moving it up and down. Okay, you get your master pattern or your master plate here, and then you can use your sub plates. Okay, so I use a little screw, and these sub plates basically look like this. All right. I typically go for about four knives or four handles or four blades. All right. They're pinned. I also put threaded inserts. Okay. And then on the master plate, you can see there's threaded inserts and there's drill bushings. All right. So it's not like I drill into the G10 and tap the G10. No, I will use threaded inserts. Put it in place. Screw them down. All right, that's how I hold the blades. There are certain ways I'll hold them. This pattern actually holds them from the top, okay, because I have threaded inserts. On this sub plate, I am holding it two different ways. I'm holding it on the top here, but I'm also holding it from the bottom side, okay? And the reason why I will use this type of sub plate is, let's say, for example, I want to machine the profile of a bolster and handle. Well, how are you going to machine a bolster and handle, without having a hole in the middle of your handle, holding it down onto your subplate? I use a sacrificial liner, which the bolster and the handle is screwed onto. The pivot hole is the pivot hole, so that's no big deal. But then the sacrificial liner is drilled and tapped, which is being held down from the bottom. And when I put it here, I can go ahead and profile, do whatever I need to do to the bolster and handle without having some ugly hole right in the middle of my handle. So subplates, okay? Now, on this side is your pattern side. I go with a 2-to-1, okay, ratio. I used to do a 3-to-1. I prefer 3-to-1, but that means my patterns would be like huge, okay? And so I went ahead and opt to a 2-to-1. Now to show you guys something about my pantograph, you'll see that I have aluminum stops here, okay? I have an aluminum stop here and here and here, all right? These aluminum stops allows me to go from 2-to-1, then I can loosen everything, slide it, bump against here, and I'm at 5-to-1. Okay, so if I ever want to do a 5-to-1 ratio for watchmaking or whatever, that's the reason why I set up my machine like this. And then when I want to, I just slide it right back, hit these stoppers, and I'm back to a 2-to-1 without having to dial in my machine, okay? So, back to the pattern. I put the patterns here and here. There we go. Put a screw here, and then I just go ahead and do my thing. All right. So some might be asking, well, how do you transfer drill these holes? So here are the pattern holes, okay, and the corresponding right here. Well, if you grab a, let's imagine this is blank, and you set everything here, okay, all right, and this is a 3/16, and you put a 3/16 stylus in here, and you drop this stylus into the hole and lock everything in place. Then from there, you can actually drill your locating holes. You come up, move to the next one, you'll drill your locating holes, okay? And if you have some kind of odd size, spud on one side and kind of like a donut shaped thing on the other side, so I'll put this right here, and then I can actually interpolate a hole while I am boring it out, okay? This also comes in handy just in case, let's just say for some weird reason, you let some dude in your shop and he goes and he cranks your table and moves it out. Number one, don't ever let that guy back in your shop, okay? But if you take one of these, put it into that hole, you take your 3/16 stylus, put it into this hole, and you have a dial indicator, and you can sweep the inside of this and move your table back to position. Okay, so that's one way of finding back zero. If you ever have that one particular asshole in your shop that moves your table around. One last thing to talk about on the Pantograph, which I don't see that many guys do to theirs, is this pulley system right here, okay? So I made this, all right, to take up vibration and the whipping of the belt. So the whipping of the belt will actually cause very fine vibrations at the cutter, okay? And so this actually eats up a lot of the vibration of the belt being whipped around. This is a very long belt, and it gives a little bit more tension on the belt. All right, and then I bought these, I think, at True Value of all places. But yeah, this will take care of a lot of the vibration, that fine vibration that you'll see on your cutters. So I hope that helps out some of you guys. This is how I set up my Pantograph. I have a master plate. I have sub plates on top of it. If you're going to use G10, highly recommend going with the reinforced threads and the drill bushings. Okay. Barry, I hope this helps out, man. Thanks a lot.